Three, two, one, action. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back to Now TV Canada, and I am just a YouTube channel. I am your host, Jen, the writer of the Smallville Reunion movie, books 1 and 2. Book 1, ready to go anytime, animation, real person, theater, whatever, from here to Australia. Anybody can audition, casting. So, second video of why to be honest is going to be combined stuff. So it's not going to be specifically, let's just talk about Tom Welling. However, today's significant date around Tom Welling and the Superman movies, which relates to my Supergirl stuff, relates to my housing issues, which relates to why being honest, which relates to the importance of being a Christian, and relates to why I'm going to go to church and talk with my bishop about having a meeting in his office with him there as a witness in regards to all of this. So first of all, I want to talk about the obvious reality that if people have been paying attention to the news, that Zod from the Superman series with Christopher has passed away at 87. Terrence Stamp is gone. And I had said I was going to read some part of the Supergirl trilogy in honor of his memory and the fact that Gene Hackman just passed away too. So when I went to open the big book, the binder, the trilogy from 2016, I just broke into this because the very first section I opened up of Lex Luthor talking, it's just Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. It's just him through and through. Like, you couldn't have put the words better into his mouth. So when you read it, he's alive, but he's right there. And I couldn't contain the tears. My heart has been broken because Tom Welling wasn't honest. Michael Rosenbaum wasn't honest. John Schneider hasn't been honest. The Hollywood industry, if the people I've contacted haven't been honest. Al Ghul hasn't been honest. Jesse isn't honest. And the girls that they co-starred with were also not being honest. And then all the mail I send even to Comic-Con events in places like the United Kingdom, obvious evidence that this is legit, that I can put my money where my mouth is. Also not confronting the actor and being honest. Like, when you get one of these, I think it's pretty clear with all that evidence there that it's legit, straight up, right? And that all that contact information is there, website included. And the fact is, if the first movie, You've Got Mail 2, had been published and talked about and promoted and reached Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks on time, Tom Welling wouldn't be in this mess, because there would have been somebody there to take the lead and make the choices that he needed made for him, like a healthy relationship between an agent and actress who go on to become a couple, which does happen and has happened, which hasn't happened in my case. I'm just stating that like attracts like, and when you work well together, it usually produces good results. So the dishonesty is so bad that even the poor envelope that I mailed Gene Hackman way back in the day in New Mexico, the poor thing is just torn right open. All stems from dishonesty. So I'm having tough time with the idea of reading parts of this movie today because of the Terrence Stamp. It's too fresh in my heart. The Smallville Reunion movie, book 1, the very first one I printed and signed, I still have it here. It's the only autographed copy, not coffee, it might have sounded like. But when you only sign one thing, it's worth way more. There's more value because it's personal, right? You know what's in here and you know what you put into it, heart, mind, body, and soul, right? These actors mean the world to me. They help make who I am, help create my soul, produce the results of the work I have written. And so all of this dishonesty ended up the story that's in book one, changing from a little bit more of what I had in mind when I was first scouting for new production locations to continue the show when it was stopped for a while after season 10, when there was still time to pick up and keep going. Because of the honesty, I now have a different story with all the material that had been on hold in my head and the results of all of the ongoing stuff around that. And now it's just priceless. Today, and he is in Toronto at the Comic-Con again. And I was already there at the first one 6 years ago. We took a picture together, and I had put down a black and white copy of the cover of this. This is after he had 3 years of notifications from me on multiple Instagram accounts and Facebook posts between us, where he definitely knew my name was Jennifer Cooley, and that I'm definitely Superwoman on Facebook, and claiming to be the writer of You've Got Mail Too and other things, including the Smallville reunion movie. And I don't think he knew how to quite respond to it, because he had been brain trained to understand, oh, well, you have to have an agent or representative. You've got to have a publisher or whatever, because that's all he kind of knew. So he didn't know how to go, well, wait a minute, I'm allowed to choose my own friends. I'm allowed to make my own decisions and decide what I want. So if he had actually taken the time, to this day, he still had the time to actually read this. Like if he left the Comic-Con in Toronto and just came here and read this, it would change everything. Because Clark Kent is an honest person. Clark Kent doesn't lie, cheat, backstab people. Clark Kent has a big heart, big mind. He's a good person, wants to do good things, to the point where he self-sacrificed on many occasions in his own life for the sake of others. And so without Tom Welling reading this movie, Clark Kent can't do that. He can't be that. He can't pick up from there and continue on. So Clark Kent can't give the world what it needs, what it's crying for right now in the state of crisis that it's in. And the fans. And Tom is at a Comic-Con without talking about the memory of Zod, Terrence Stamp, and actually respecting the elders of the people of the original movies, whom we owe everything we have our success from for, right? Like it's all because of them coming before us, setting such perfect standards, right? And all of this comes from God. It all comes from the basis of believing in one and knowing righteousness from corruption, and knowing how important it is that we have the ability to create characters that will, give us hope through this world we're in of imperfection. We'll get to a time in the world where there'll be equality and so much difference in value and worth in life based on what you have. Equality based on what is right. And that's a way better future we should be working towards together, by doing the right things, by taking moments to honor and remember people who set a standard for us, to make it possible for us to write and act and do these things. So again, I'm just upset, because even Michael sometimes will take more time to notice these things and make comments here and there, even if it's just little blips about people and stuff. And what really upsets me is the Gene Hackman thing. Gene Hackman didn't die from natural causes. And I don't like the press and people trying to brush off what happened between him and his wife that way. This is dishonor and disrespectful that people would treat somebody like that because of age and the length of time they spent in retirement. Just like I was upset with Tom Welling doing The Fog, because the original story was already a classic and it was so good. And when people are still alive from classics that are already so wonderful, you don't need to step all over their heads, step all over them, just walk over them and act like it wasn't there, that it wasn't good. Same thing with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and other things, where it's like, no, just enjoy the perfection of what it already is. until they've passed away. And then you make something new in honor and in memory of what's beautiful about that whole situation. But Gene Hackman lied on his floor in his home, breathing. His heart was beating. He was still in this living world with us. Not for one, not for two, not for three, not for four, not for 5 or 6 days, but 7. 7 days, a whole week that man lived. He was alive like the living Christ, like the God that made the earth and put us on it. That 7 days is symbolic of God, right? The message that people should be taking care to check in on people like that and helping when they get to that state of need of care, that they're living on their own. He would have lived longer had somebody been checking in regularly to save him, even if his wife had passed away and there was nothing to be done about that. But you don't leave him to die 7 days later so they could both be cleaned up, a wash together, where you wash your hands of this all at once, they're gone, and then you move on, and the new generation acts like no big deal. They didn't mean anything. There's no care in the world there. They don't watch it. They're not part of it. So I don't think I'm going to be able to read from the Supergirl trilogy today. I'm pretty upset. I just wanted to share scripture stuff, about the world. What do you think of God, humankind, controlling the world? I've put the scriptures below in the description because I don't have the time to sit and read all of those scriptures with people about why. I just want to read some of the reflections from the little flyer that's here. I would be here all day if I didn't shorten it. But the Son of God came to destroy the devil's work. 1 John 3 and 8. And logical explanation for the world's problems can be found in Revelation 12:12. The reason to believe that our world will change for the better, you can find that in 1 John 2:17, because God's promises are real. He always keeps his word. Satan's rulership is doomed. Jehovah is determined to bring Satan's control over mankind to an end. He promises to bring to nothing the devil and undo all the damage that Satan has caused. Hebrews 2:14. God has chosen Jesus Christ to rule the world. And he is with us, and he is doing this, and the signs are there. Jesus is the complete opposite of this world's present cruel, selfish ruler. Concerning Jesus' kingship, God promises he will have pity on the lowly and the poor from oppression and from violence. He will rescue them. Psalm 72, 13, 14. Why I do my frontline work. Why my homes are always located where they are, so that I'm out of the world I started in, but still close enough to be reminded of where I've come from and who's still in there and what they need, and be able to help and give away stuff and food, provide, cook, whatever. No matter how much success or money I should have had by now, which I should have, even when I have it, I don't want to ever forget the gift I was given to be the humble person, the meek person that I am, the one that's able to cry, right? I don't want to lose that ability. That makes a huge difference as an artist and as a writer and as a person. You need to feel. All of these things matter. God cannot lie. The Bible plainly states it is impossible for God to lie. Hebrews 6:18. When Jehovah promises to do something, is as good as done. Isaiah 55:10 and 11. The ruler of this world will be cast out. John 12:31. So the whole point is of what's happened to me with the utilities on this building. Now, the devil is trying to cast me out, right? He is got, I don't know how to put this. My mom has people from some other country. It doesn't matter which one of those countries. It's just what it is. that have been holding her hostage. They have been stalking that apartment, whatever you call it. They've been sitting in her place 16 months on a work visa from another country. And the church and that employer is supposed to help provide housing. And every single offer that's been made to them for going to look and search and meet with people about housing, they've continuously turned down. And they've tried to walk around saying, oh, this is our home. We live here. It's not their home. They're not on the lease. It's my mother's apartment. And they haven't paid my mom any money at all. And recently, someone in the family, I don't know whose cousin, one of their cousins, was killed, murdered. And they went to Surrey, BC to see family and whatever about that on the credit card. They have an SUV. They drive a vehicle. They have insurance. They both have jobs. And they got escaped to whatever. I think it was Pakistan. I don't know, India, whatever. They got scared. They went back there for a while. And then, of course, after being there for a while, they're like, well, we can't stay because we have to go back to work or we could lose our work visas, right? But they're at a point now where their time is up and they can't stay, right? The work visas are going to come up. My mom paid $600 for this girl to take a course for something. And my mom doesn't give me $600 at once. Never. On my entire adult life, I think my mom gave me $1,000 once when she was doing really, really well in her life to send my butt back to BC and go find a husband. Go do whatever you got to do to take care of you and fix your life, right? You've divorced, you're free again. Go and do whatever. And that woman hasn't paid her back. My mom had to go, I think, and deal with a chief of police or something and follow certain rules to give them a notice that they're supposed to move by the end of August. So I couldn't connect what was happening to me here. But by making this place too expensive, it's like, oh, well, you can't stay. And the landlords don't want to pay for the bills that they're responsible for. So they want to find a way to increase rents so that all of it's covered by the tenants. It's supposed to have separate meters for all these rooms, and certain parts of it is their responsibility to pay for. Now, because I had the hydro cut off, I was blessed. The Lord had that done to show me what the problem had been with the $15,000 I had spent on utilities in the 5 years I've been leasing this apartment. But I could have bought my own house. I could have bought a piece of land from the non-taxable properties that get sold for the taxes that need to be paid. And then you have immediate possession of land and built an off-grid place to live. And my life would be pretty good right now. And so the Lord's like, no, that's enough. It stops here. And those guys refused to leave her apartment. And somehow, because the devil knows I have this place, I guess his brain's just thinking, oh, well, they're just going to get to drive over there and just move on in and just stick like sticky putty. Well, I don't know them. They're not close personal friends of mine. I don't have anything to do with the Trinity or their church. It's not going to happen, right? I'm not going to go visit there and sleep in an apartment with a man and 4 women and we're all camped out in sleeping bags on the floor or whatever. Like, that's just not going to be me at 50. It's inappropriate. But when these guys wrote me back, they wrote me back with saying, thank you for connecting with Hydro-Quebec and getting the service back up. Much appreciated. Now that we have a better sense where the electricity is getting billed for units 1 and 2, I would like us to work toward finding an arrangement that works for the both of us. Here are 3 items that come to mind. 1, fixing the plug in the kitchen that always trips the breaker. 2, finding an arrangement to compensate you for the past hydro that you paid that should have been billed to unit 1, room plug, hot water tank, etc. An example could be free rent for a period of time. Finding a rent adjustment. Number 3, to account for the distribution of the electricity. If it is not feasible, to have an electrician reroute all the wires to the appropriate panels. One option could be the hydro portion of your rent, make it inclusive and revise the amount of the rent. So I already mentioned in the first Why Be Honest video where he wants $1,158. So he wants $158 more dollars. And the bill I just, oh, do I have it here on the phone? Maybe I do. Well, I have it in the email, so hang on a second. I'll show you. So I'm doing these videos so that I can remain honest, so that it remains honest. So I did the work on the bills yesterday to protect myself from how people have these mind-changing experiences overnight. And so I had already caught up to Hydro-Quebec's gig, what they're like. Checks and they write in the amount that they want that you have to pay them, even though you haven't used it yet. So 2 days later, that was in my account. Now I have learned that I can do equal payments for this 155.06. I don't have to do equal payments for the whole year, which when I checked that out, they wanted $277.74. So they want $3,331 for the whole year for my apartment. Yeah, if you're including the basement, the laundry that's being done, and the hot water tank, and the space heater that's used during the wintertime, that would make sense. This is why they told these guys you need to have a separate meter. So the point is, they want that much more in rent instead of putting in another meter. And essentially, I'm still paying for the basement because they're not having to put the meter in. So the answer is for the extra meter. I'm not going to change the rent. I'm not going to go with the inclusive because it's not going to always be the same every month. If I can just do these smaller bills on payment plans, then I'm better off with my roommates or renters if I have two in here and I'm gone to Vancouver again, doing it myself that way. But in 24 hours, he completely had forgotten that he had offered free rent for a certain period of time or some other way of giving back for the time I've had to pay for all of that. And raising my rent is not helping me, is it? That's not giving back. That's clearly trying to help yourself, right? Pocket money and get out of paying a bill that's been yours to pay the whole time you've owned the property. This is what I'm saying about how much I care about this house. I want to own the place. And if people were being honest around my movie work, around the Smallville movie, if Tom wasn't off joyriding and being in the sunlight and enjoying his success at Comic Cons and stuff, no longer being, I wouldn't have to worry about this. I could have made an offer and moved on, right? So I'm going to hold this meeting in front of the bishop. I'm going to put this up. That's going to be on the cover for this Why Be Honest video. The Lord had that happen, so my brain would know what was driving me crazy about the 5 years and why this was happening. But Hydro shouldn't be allowed to just keep telling people we want more and more and more, and then therefore tell the landlords that's how much more the rent's got to be. So because of the increase over the years, because mine just kept going higher over the 5 years in the history of the bills, they went from $1,000 for a tiny little 2-bedroom, which barely uses any energy, especially when I'm not here most of the time. And I have really quiet tenants who do nothing. The TV's never running. There's never any radio. Nothing happens. There's very little cooking if it's not me here doing the cooking. And now they would like to adjust it. The Hydro would like to control it so that they would be charging $1,300 for the same 2-bedroom. And I had said it's barely worth $1,100. And so right away they skipped to $1,158. So that doesn't solve the problem with the basement. The other guy and his inclusivity, which is paying more than $1,200 for his right to use the basement and do all the laundry he wants, take all the hot showers he wants, is still costing my unit and my utility bill money because the fact that they don't put the meter in to separate my apartment from the bill that comes in. So even if I accepted to pay $1,158, there's still going to be a problem on the additional amount of hot water and laundry use. So I think what I'm going to do is just leave it, to the Lord, leave it to the world watching the videos who can see that I am this person that has written these movies, and that there should have been a way to reach Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks a long time ago about You've Got Mail Too. I also want to make a point about the fact that when Tom was reading a tiny little book, it was a small little skinny book, a runt of a book about some guy that got stranded on the island, like that Wilson movie that Tom Hanks made. Wasn't that book. And he says to everybody with the picture on his Instagram, what should I read next? And I simply made a message to him that said, you should read my first movie. So if he had read this movie, the first movie I had written, it might have given him work. He might have actually been able to say, well, can I be in it? Right? It's very good. It's wonderful. Maybe I should get back to work as an actor, do some acting work. Right? And so now he's just, wandering the jungle. And I don't know how to help people understand that the answers are in here, in this story about honesty and what happened to his childhood around Jonathan Kent. That's why it's called the Jonathan Kent years, because there's a whole new story, a whole new whack-a-doodle of stuff in here that is relevant to Clark's life on this earth. And now that he comes into his midlife, you could do a whole new series based on the wonderful stuff that I've created in this work. So I think I'm going to go out for a while today, go find the Lac Leamy Beach, see if the weather there is nice enough to get in. I'm going to have my barbecue and have my chicken and just not go any further than these two videos about why be honest in dealing with the situation. And I did post my information to the Crosby family on one of their videos, and I did find links to their other accounts. So maybe while I'm out, something will give way. Somebody might reach out to me about how they can help and what can be done. I've got the non-taxable, what do you call it, auction thing coming up. The non-paid tax land auction thing coming up. So I'll pray for a car ride to go look at some of that land, and that auction will provide itself. But it's amazing how quickly the adversary can change a person's frame of mind and thoughts in 24 hours to be kind and generous one day and then be disruptive the next. But the point is, they're holding my mom hostage, even though they're supposed to have found their own place. And it's like a fight over my apartment because it's at a low enough rent that they'd be willing to pay so they could keep driving their car. But this is not their country. It's not their home or not their family. This is not our problem. You have an employer. People sign papers, contracts about your housing and your work, whatever. It's not for them to be bleeding people dry, using everybody up, burning all the bridges until they run out of options to care for them because of church, because of God, right? Because of what Jesus stands for. There is a limit. There is a line. And my apartment is definitely that limit and line. They're not coming here. I've tried many times to rent to different people from different places. I gave it my best. And now I have a really good, nice lady moving in September. And I am very happy. I've been very blessed. I deserve to have somebody that's going to take care of the place, that can be trusted with being in here and live peaceably here, and that I'm going to enjoy having as a renter. And I'm going to be making sure I do the same thing when I find a second person for the other room, while I work on plans for what to do about all of these movies and building the axe woodcutter's wife and my $1 restaurant idea and buying land in the country so I can make enough money to own this house so I can finish restoring it into the vision I have for it. End of story. So get in touch with me below if you want to be a part of it. Follow me. Tell others to do the same. So just thanks for watching. Keep following as I go to church tomorrow and figure out what's going to come next week. But I got to get outside now, go enjoy some part of the afternoon because my head is just smoking with all the stuff that's running through it. And some more stuff from both the Our Heritage book, the Smith that I started, and Jesus, the Way, the Truth, and the Life. And something from a magazine that is actually titled Why Be Honest? How Dishonesty Affects You. Because this one's long enough. It's already 30 minutes. So peace out, everybody. Have a good afternoon. Buy my books. Help support me in my ability to record them. Share the work. You guys want to much, this work as much as everybody else who's ever been a fan of the Smallville show and Christopher Reeve's work. So Supergirl 2, 3, and 4 signing out. Dun, 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 dun. Peace out for Terrence Stomp. Rest in peace. 87 was good years. I'll be back. Bye for now. Superwoman signing out.